We are the Boulder Scandinavian dancers in the Boulder Spelmanslag, and we like to dance Scandinavian, Swedish, Norwegian, Danish, Finnish things, and we're going to put on a performance for you today. That was a Ruris Pulse from Norway, and our next dance will be a Sandfuru. This is also from Norway.
To bring you our annual funny instruments talk right now. We have some native instruments, one from Sweden, one from Norway. Some of you may have seen or heard the Norwegian one, and fewer of you probably have seen or heard the Swedish one. This is the Swedish one. It's called a nyckelharpa. It means a keyed harp or keyed fiddle. It has resonant strings underneath the strings that you play on, and they will echo when you hit the right note. So let's see, these predate the fiddle. They're much older in Sweden than violins are. They have a wonderful tone. They nearly died out in the early 1900s and were brought back and have a huge following now.
In Sweden.
In Sweden. And also a good following in the United States. There are, what, a couple hundred of them?
Couple hundred.
Yeah, not bad.
About a year ago, you could hear one playing the little in-between music on NPR, the little tune.
Oh, I heard it recently.
Yeah, good.
have a Norwegian funny instrument. Some of you may have seen this instrument if you watched the TV coverage of the Olympic Games at Lillehammer in Norway. This is called a hardingfele. In English we call it a hardanger fiddle. It is from the south of Norway. It's basically like a violin, but again, like the nyckelharpa, it has extra resonant strings that you don't ever touch with the bow, but which ring when you hit the note they're tuned to. These instruments also were the subject of extremists. About 75% of all the hardingfele in Norway were burned in the middle 1800s because the church movement at that time decided they must be instruments of the devil. We think that maybe that has something to do with the fact that the kids would go out and dance to these instruments on Saturday night and not be able to get up for church on Sunday. But whatever. They also have been brought back. This dance is a stringer from Telemark, and Jenna is going to play us a tune for it. Oh, sorry, it's gone now. Sorry. Hope we don't have to string. It doesn't mean for sex, it means for 6 people. It's perhaps the oldest dance we do except for one, and this one has been around at least since the 1600s. This was before people were really allowed to take each other in their arms.
very literally, it's called the four-man dance. So the ladies are going to take a break. And now before a fight breaks out, we're going to give the men a breather and let orchestra play. Be listening to for you.
What's going on?
You have to dance with
We're going to sing a dance. This is quite common in the little villages in Sweden and Norway, and probably in Finland too. Sometimes they get snowed in, sometimes people were out of town, they didn't have a fiddler, the fiddler was off drinking somewhere. That was very common, not with these kids, but yeah. And so they would ask somebody to sing. Men sang, women sang, and they sang the dance tunes. We're going to sing a dance tune about the value of friendship.
Hur du vänder dig och hur du svänger dig så lag att du har en trogen vän. Hur du vänder dig och hur du svänger dig så lag att du har en trogen vän. Snart förgår dina ungdomsdagar, snart förgår dina ungdomsdagar. Aldrig komma dig, nej aldrig komma dig, nej aldrig komma dig här mer igen. Snart förgår dina ungdomsdagar, snart förgår dina ungdomsdagar. Aldrig komma dig, nej aldrig komma dig, nej aldrig komma dig här mer igen. Hur du vänder dig och hur du svänger dig så lag att du har en trogen vän. Hur du vänder dig och hur du svänger dig så lag att du har en trogen vän. Snart förgår dina ungdomsdagar, snart förgår dina ungdomsdagar. Aldrig komma dig, nej aldrig komma dig, nej aldrig komma dig här mer igen. Snart förgår dina ungdomsdagar, snart förgår dina ungdomsdagar. Aldrig komma dig, nej aldrig komma dig, nej aldrig komma dig här mer igen.
It's costume time. I guess it is.
Oh, no, okay, but you can't. You can change the program.
Oh, I didn't know it was in the program. How many do you think all these costumes look alike? Confess right now. Nobody, yay! A good bunch we have here. We have Swedish and Norwegian costumes here. I don't think we have any Finnish costumes today. Okay.
Or Danish, I don't see
Or
any
no Danish, no Danish. Let's bring the Swedish ones out, all of you Swedes here. Our costumes sometimes have something to do with our ethnicity and sometimes not, just so you know. But these all represent Swedish villages. Mike's is from Brunskog in Värmland. Notice the beautiful moose hide pants, which he sewed himself after eating part of the moose. They also have wonderful suspenders, which he will demonstrate. Good for working in the woods. Pulley system on them. Sheila's costume is from Leksand, around Lake Siljan, where they row to church and do all sorts of lovely stuff. Notice the beautiful purse that is all appliqué and embroidered, I believe, too.
A little bit, yeah.
A little bit of both. Yours is from I do. I should know. It's from Kinda in Östergötland, I believe. And it demonstrates, do we have one? You have?
It's a
Yeah.
good one.
Okay, this is, we'll show you a comparison here. This is from By in Dalarna, little town whose name means town. And if you turn around, you'll see that his has the nice woven wool all over the back as well as the front. This was a little unusual. It indicated that you lived in a wealthy district. And in opposition to that, you have
No.
you
before they had cotton, everything was linen. It wears very nicely. It wears very nicely, and you can replace it without having to weave a new piece. Mike also has that on his costume. Dawn's costume is from Nos in central Dalarna, and they took advantage of the trade with China and used these lovely imported cottons for that. She has some special shoes. Here, lean on me, Dawn. Go sideways. Now raise your hoof like you're getting shoed. Now the other way, backwards. See how far forward the heels are. The heels are they're more than an inch forward from the actual heel of the shoe. And this was a fad in the 1830s. And you can imagine what the mothers said about this when their grown daughters started doing this. You're gonna break your leg. You're going straight to you know where. Oh, this is awful. Just like they do today about fashions. Okay, enough of that. Do we have Swedes in the audience up here? We have lots of Norwegians here. All of you Norwegians step forward. You have a Norwegian. Okay. Kristen has beginnings in the Swedish one, but we're going to let her build on it. That's a start. The Norwegians. Norway tends to have a lot more costumes with embroidery on them. This is Western Telemark. Both of these are. Yours doesn't have embroidery on the back. Mine does. And you will see a lot of different embroidery patterns. If you know what the regions are, you can identify what region the costume is from by the pattern of the embroidery. We have one here from the Trøndelag area, up in northern Norway. Three beautiful Gudbrandsdal. These got their plaid in 1630 when the Scots invaded Norway and thought they were going to take over. But the Norwegians whipped them and sent them back to Scotland, but kept the plaid. That's where they got the plaid. Let's see, we have, you have one from Voss, and no others? That's it. We're done. Now that we can breathe again, we will do our only Danish tune dance today. It's called Little Man in a Fix. Maybe you can tell why.
on the couple dancing is to dance one man with two women. We had one woman and two men before. Did you remember seeing that?
Points, points.
We have a final tune and song for you, but before we do that, we want to let you know that we are based out of Boulder. We teach dance lessons every Monday night. You don't have to do this fancy stuff. There are a lot of accessible dances, and dancers too. If you're interested, come up and talk to one of us and we'll give you the detailed information. We want to say that the Spelmanslag is our proudest partner. They work very hard. These kids don't get paid for what they're doing. They do it after school. They take lessons. They put together costumes. They forget their violins, but just like other kids. And they have very full lives, so we're very glad to see that they're dedicated enough to take the time to do all this lovely stuff for us. And if you would like to know about hiring either group or both for performance, come up and talk to us afterwards. And don't forget, there's a Lucia train going off at, well, it doesn't, it's exploding, but it's going down the street at noon. Please be there too.
It's fun.
Our last dance is the Swedish national dance, if there is one, the hambo, and this is a special Christmas hambo.
Thank you very much for coming to see us. lessons to lots of these kids. She works with this group on at least a weekly basis, maybe more, I don't know. When she puts together these performances, I just think she's doing a wonderful thing.
We love coming up here every year. So we're going to play one last thing and then we'll be done.